Hey, all right, here we go, guys. It's the Monday Morning Money Show. This is episode 1. We are in our makeshift studios in Broxton, Georgia. We will be moving to our new studios very soon in Douglas, Georgia, Digi Ninja Studios. So really quickly, before I bring on my guest, I want to explain to you exactly what the Monday Morning Money Show is and what it's all about. It's real simple. The purpose of this show is to help you increase your money knowledge and your net worth and your cash flow. It's very simple, okay? Half the world's net worth belongs to 1% of the people, okay? So every Monday, we're going to bring you some money experts. We're going to bring people who know how to increase cash flow, people with specialized knowledge to help you become one of the people who have more of the money, okay? Everybody wants more money. At least I think they do. Only 10% of the people in the world control 85% of the wealth. 10% control 85% of the wealth. So my job is to help get you into the 10%. Then we'll talk about the 1%. I have a 1%er coming on here today. My man, Glenn Lundy. Can we bring Glenn on?
Yeah. What's up, my man?
Hey, I hear you loud and clear, guys. Can we see you loud and clear over there? Awesome. Glenn, thank you so much for being the first guest on my brand new show.
Number 1. I love being number 1. Thanks, man. What an honor to be here. I appreciate you. This is awesome.
Hey, Glenn.
I'm sharing it right now.
Oh, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Glenn, for those of you that don't know Glenn, we're going to let him tell his story to us here momentarily. I got to get this. I have a delay over here. Let me work through some of this real quick, Glenn. All right. I need to get that out of the way. Okay. So Glenn, I don't know if you heard the intro, but I just told everybody that 10% of the world's population controls 85% of the wealth. Now, that seems like a disparity. There's no doubt it is a disparity. But I know that you know some things that people can do to leave the 90% and go to the 10%. Is that a fair assessment?
That is a fair assessment, 100. Yeah, absolutely.
Can you turn his volume up in my headset? Okay, great. So here's the thing, Glenn. First of all, I want you to tell people, I'm going to tell a little bit about what I know about Glenn Lundy. And then I want you to tell me who Glenn Lundy is, where he came from and where he's at and how he got there. Now we have as much time, but you probably have other things to do, but please give me at least the Reader's Digest condensed version. I know that you ran one of the most successful, one of the second largest dealer franchise, either dealership or dealer group in the country. And I know you were an amazing leader, an amazing general manager, that you have a track record of success. I know that you're a 10%er or 1%er even. We won't get into specifics. I'm not going to reveal anybody's specifics, but I do know that you're qualified to give me drop some bombs of knowledge on us today. So tell me who Glenn Lundy is.
Dude, I'm a husband to 1. I am a father to 7, going on 8. And like you said, I'm a 22-year automotive professional. I'm also the host of the wildly popular Facebook Live show, #Rise and Grind. And really, man, I'm just a dude out here trying to make an impact in other people's lives. And that'd be the best way to describe me.
Well, you definitely do that. Where were you born? Tell me about how Glenn Lundy started off early in life.
Yeah, man, I grew up in Flagstaff, Arizona, which for a lot of people think Arizona, you think hot, you think desert, but Flagstaff's actually mountains. So I grew up at 7,500 feet elevation. Snowed about 6 months out of the year up there. Kind of a crazy place to live. Grand Canyon was in my backyard, and the wonderful creeks of Sedona, the Red Rock Canyons, was over on the other side in my backyard. So just a beautiful place to grow up. I grew up in an interesting situation. My dad is black, my mom is white, and they got divorced when I was like 11 years old. After they got divorced, my mom, who is white, remarried a white man, and my dad, who is black, remarried a black woman. And then they moved in 2 apartments apart, dude. My dad and his new wife in apartment 30, my mom and her new husband in apartment 28. And so I grew up in just both cultures, man. Every stereotype that you could think of existed. So dad's house was like gospel music, sports on every TV. We were listening to Motown. We were dancing around in the living rooms. Dad's place was all that. Fried chicken, collard greens, all that stuff. Mom's house was a little different vibe, rock and roll, country music, her reading books on the couch, very, very, very quiet atmosphere. So I grew up in both worlds, which really taught me a lot about being able to connect with different types of people and becoming a sort of a chameleon myself. So there was a lot of positives to that. The negative sides of that were that I never really understood where I fit in. My skin was too dark to be considered white, too light to be considered black. And so I had a lot of surface relationships, and that led me to make a lot of poor decisions when I was young, a lot of poor decisions. I got into the auto industry when I was 20 years old, and I was good at it because I could connect and talk with people, and I started making money. And of course, that money led to, chasing girls and partying and all of those things, which rapidly took me on a downward spiral journey to where, I left the auto industry for a little bit. I spent some time homeless in San Diego, deep depression, suicidal, all of those things. And after a failed suicide attempt when I was, I guess I was 26, 27 years old, somewhere in there. After that, I realized something, Billy. I realized that I was spending my life thinking that I was a victim to all of these environments and situations, and not realizing that I take myself wherever I go, and that it was that every bad situation in my life was a result of my actions, and therefore any success that I wanted to have in my life was going to be a result of my actions, not someone else's. And so that was a changing point for me, where I started to dive in a little bit, a little more understanding of the spiritual side of myself and the powers that come with that. And then also taking responsibility for success and the powers that come along with that. So that's kind of the Reader's Digest version of the Glenn Lundy backstory.
Well, I tell you what, Glenn, that's, I'm learning right now. I knew a lot about you. I knew you're an amazing leader, and that you can motivate people, and that you've got some specialized knowledge. I didn't know your backstory like that. So thank you so much for telling me about that. How long did it take you? So how old were you when you turned it around, when, from suicidal to homeless to irresponsible to figuring out that, hey, I better get this thing going in the right direction?
Well, let's just say I'm pretty hard-headed, Billy. So
Okay.
even when I learn lessons, I don't necessarily apply them as quick as I could. And so from that point, in my late 20s, it was a lot of, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And it wasn't until I landed in Kentucky and I met my beautiful wife, Miss Leslie, and her and I had our first child, that I really started to, settle down, as they say, started to settle in and really take responsibility for being financially successful, as well as, different areas of my life. So in my early 30s is when I really started to dive in, self-development, spiritual understanding, listening to guys like Jim Rohn and Eric Thomas and John Maxwell and Grant Cardone, all of that stuff. Grant's been around my whole life, but really starting to listen to what he was saying. That started in my early 30s, and luckily, the last 10 years for us has been pretty unreal, man. Pretty unreal.
How old are you now?
42.
Awesome. I'm 43. So we have somewhat similar stories. I didn't get my life together until and I didn't even have it totally together then. But at 33 years old, my 20s were spent probably similar to yours in a lot of ways.
Sure.
But at 33 years old, I decided, hey, we better get going on the right steps. And we both were in sales. And, I'm a salesman's advocate. I want to help anybody who wants help. But those salespeople out there that follow you, that follow me, a lot of car salespeople, a lot of sales managers, finance managers, even general managers. We're going to have a show on Thursdays for the dealers. I'd love to have you back sometime for that. But I want to talk to that. And most importantly, I want you to talk to that salesperson out there that has been in the car business, tasted a little success, or been in sales, not necessarily the car business, but that's tasted some success. They've made some good money. They've seen the ups and downs, and they just feel like they're spinning their wheels. You, coming from basically at nothing, I mean that you said you were suicidal at one point and homeless. That's considered rock bottom for sure. To where you are now, massive success. What's the one thing that you can tell that salesperson that's thinking about giving up, or that they've got bad information from a general manager, a owner, a sales manager? Give them some good information, something that they can use that's real, that can help them.
Ultimately, it's going to come down to your daily actions. What are your daily activities? And if you can continue to consistently with discipline, make sure that those activities are producing the result that you want, you will win in this business, period. So a lot of people, there's a big difference between consistently and daily. Big difference, right? You can say, oh, well, I consistently follow up with my customers. I don't need you to do it consistently. I need you to do it daily. Consistently leaves a gap, right? Like if I told you, Billy, I consistently am faithful to my wife, there's gaps in there, right? Well, every once in a while I cheat. That's not okay. That don't work, right? Daily, I am faithful and loyal to my wife. Daily, I am faithful and pour into my children, my kids. Daily, I am doing activities that are moving me towards my goals. Big difference between daily and consistently. So for all the salespeople out there, you have to look. There's this word called grind, right? I talk about #rise and grind all of the time, and sometimes people get it twisted. The word grind, by definition, means a consistent, repetitive action. That's what that means. Consistent, repetitive action. Expand on that. Consistent, repetitive action. I want you to add this little component to it that moves me towards a positive result. You see, too many people grind. They have daily repetitive actions, like showing up for work 10 minutes late. That's a daily repetitive action for a lot of people. Or sitting around with my buddies and getting breakfast first thing in the morning. That's a daily repetitive action for a lot of people. But is it moving you towards the result that you desire? If it's not, then you're just grinding, dude, and you're going to grind yourself to death. You'll die in this business. This business will kill you. The key is daily repetitive actions that move you towards the target, the goal, that are actually getting a result. And if you can do those every single day, guaranteed 100%, you will win in this business. It's the most incredible industry on the planet. It really, really is. I call it no down payment required. You don't have to have a college degree. You don't have to have any experience. You don't have to have anything. Come into this business, do consistent daily actions that are going to move you towards the desired result, and you will win in this business. Billy, you know it's true. You'll end up promoted. You'll get headhunted. You'll end up in the right dealership. Dude, you can't lose if you just do consistent daily actions that move you towards the positive result.
Love it, man. So I took some notes before I got on here. I wanted to hear your take on that, on the daily. I've got it right here in front of me. So my opinion, and this can be a discussion, a debate. Tell me if I'm wrong, where I'm wrong, because I want to be better. Okay. The most important thing you need to know about money, this is a money show. First of all, it is is you need a money goal. You need a target, and I believe you need to write that target down daily. Because if you don't have a target that you're looking at every day, then there's no way you can hit it if you don't have a target. I mean, do you feel the same way that we need to be writing down specific money goals? And look, by the way, I want to say this. Spirituality and family and love and all those things is the most important thing. I'm not qualified to give a whole lot of advice on that. But money, this is just a money show. I don't worship money. I'm not putting money as the number one priority, but it's important. So I feel like, and everybody needs it. So I want this to be a show that helps people. Don't get the mistake that it's all about money, money, money. This is just a Monday morning money show. So specifically regarding money, do you feel like we need to be writing our goals down every day and looking at them?
Yes, 100%. Yeah, you gotta write your goals down. Daily goals are even more important than monthly goals. And monthly goals are even more important than yearly goals, right? Like we want to keep it real short time span so that we can do those daily activities to reach that specific target. I will expand on that a little bit though. Me particularly, I don't necessarily look at a daily money goal. For me, it's a client goal, which equals money, right? It equals money. So I'm looking for, I want to sign 2 new dealers today, or I want to, whatever, because the relationship side of it's super, super important to me. So it is a money goal, but I make sure that mentally I understand it's really people. It's your connections with people that are going to generate the dollars. How can I serve people today in a way that they're going to do business with me, which ultimately equates to money? Make sense?
Absolutely, man. Right here in my personal journal, relationships are our most valuable asset. That's your network is your net worth, those type of things.
No
Man,
doubt
relationship side. And look, money's the result of those relationships.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
So, and hey, man, I tell you a cool story. Okay. So, I think it was last Friday night. We're at the restaurant. I interviewed someone here in the office. I interviewed someone to be my second in command, or the co-second in command with my operations manager. So the young man came in. He interviewed well. He's very qualified, and it's going to take a big investment from me to get him to come, bigger than I wanted, right? But I'm like, man, I really want to invest in my business and grow my business, so I got to invest in people to do that. So I was at the restaurant with my wife. As synchronicity would have it, this gentleman walked in. He came in the same restaurant. I've never seen him at a restaurant before. He just happened to walk in. I call that synchronicity, a sign, whatever you want to call it. So on my napkin, I took out my pen and I wrote down things I can invest in. I think I said a Polaris Ranger, one of those side-by-sides, a Rolex watch, and there was a third thing, a Jeep Rubicon. So all these things are things that I can spend money on. And I drew a circle and a line through it. And I don't have a Rolex right now. I don't have a Polaris side by side. I don't have a Jeep Rubicon. I have a watch, and I have a vehicle. And so I don't need those things. Below that, I wrote down people, and I put a check mark beside it. So I think this is going hand in hand in what you're saying, that, people and the relationships are the most valuable investment or relationship that we have. Is that true?
100%, man. 100%. Instead of sitting down first thing in the morning and saying, okay, I'm going to make $1,000 today. Let's sit down first thing in the morning and say, I'm going to do business with 3 new people today. Right.
Yeah.
Those 3 new people are going to equate to $1,000. Right. So it's still a money goal, but it's just a little tweak mindset wise to understanding that our success comes through relationships with people, not a relationship with money.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you. The funny part of that story is, then I got a text from a fake number that told me I'm so fake that, anybody can write down on a piece of paper that they invest in people. I'm like, man, this is just bizarre that somebody's going to take the time when I'm having a genuine conversation with myself, and seeing how people are the most important thing. And trust me, to get this guy is a big investment, and he's coming, by the way. He'll be here next Monday. He'll be on the show probably. So it was just
congratulations. That's awesome.
So you're a super positive guy, and we spent some personal time together. We've flown across the country together. Do you receive, because sometimes I realize I can rub people the wrong way sometimes, and I'm working on that daily. You know what I'm saying? That's what the show's all about. That's what listening to you and having people that I admire on here is all about. Do you receive hate from people? And do you feel that that's a sign of success or a sign of maybe you doing something wrong?
Billy, it's interesting, man. I like sometimes, because I they always say you're not doing anything until you got a bunch of haters, and I don't have a bunch of haters yet. So sometimes I think maybe I'm not doing enough, but then I look at it and I really try hard, like, because I've been homeless, because I've done drugs, because I'm mixed, because God gave me this. It's one of my gifts that I try to use and pull. I try to pull people together, man. I'm always trying to pull people together, and I have the ability to jump in anybody's shoes and see things from their point of view. It's a gift of mine, right? And so I think a lot of what I put out there on social, even though people know my views and my opinions and how I feel, I always try to reflect and be sensitive to other people's thoughts and opinions. I don't believe that I'm always right. And so I think in doing so, it's limited that. Where I do get a little bit of hate is when we go out and we do, which this is crazy to if you're going to be mind blown when I tell you this, but when I get the most hate is when we go out and do something good in the community. When we go out and serve, we go out and hand out $100 bills in fast food drive-throughs, or we go hand out $1,000 to a waitress at Cracker Barrel. When we go hugging homeless people in downtown Lexington, when we go serve catered meals to the Lexington Police Department, when we do good things, we always capture that stuff. We capture it on video, we capture it on photo, and we share it on social media. And it's the I want to say the crazy Christians. Oh, I'm a Christian, but it's those, they come at me and say, well, the Bible says you need to do all your good deeds behind doors. You shouldn't be sharing that stuff. And I'm going, look, if you can share death, violence, politics, and destruction all over social media, then I'm going to show positive things that will maybe inspire other people to go out and do something positive. We don't serve people for the camera, but when we serve people, we capture it on camera in hopes that it'll impact other people's lives. So that's really where I get the most of my haters, when we're actually doing the real positive stuff in the world. It's crazy, man.
That is crazy. And I've experienced some of that as well. And here's something that I know about you, and that your haters don't know about you. I've seen it firsthand. You don't record and share every good thing you do, man. You're right. But there's certain things that you do want to share, and it is a good thing to share those things. And I know for a fact, I've seen you take money out of your pocket and hand it to someone and say thank you. The camera wasn't rolling. You didn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? It was a sign. It wasn't a sign. It was you being you. So I would venture to say that there's a whole lot of charity that goes on from Glenn Lundy, a whole lot more that doesn't get recorded and shared as well. And I've dealt with the same thing, decision making. Should I share this? Should I not? And my wife has seen a whole lot of charity and a whole lot of helping of the left hand not seeing what the right hand's doing and keeping it private. And I think that we are blessed for that. But sometimes a good deed of inspiration needs to be shared for the whole wide world to see. So
No doubt, man.
I know that
I
you do
look
more
back
than
at the Bible itself. Imagine if the stories of Jesus were never shared.
right.
Imagine if he was like, shh,
Yeah.
don't tell anybody.
Don't tell anybody I healed those people. They're walking. So
So
yeah,
it's just it's interesting, but people are people, and giving, on that note, giving and serving, Billy, is that's another success tip, man. You want to make more money in your life, then give
yeah,
like crazy. What Billy's saying is spot on. We capture maybe 5% of what we actually, do, and give back. But that's something that I struggled with early on in my walk as I was transitioning, from who I was to who I am today. And I've just found you can't outgive God, man. You keep serving, you keep giving, and it always is rewarded, always.
yeah, man, absolutely. So this show is a service. You are on here helping me today, and I'm going to have a lot of guests every week. You don't get paid to do this. I don't get paid to do this. We're trying to get people to pull people up, to advance them in their money game. It is a money show, a Monday morning money show. And to recap what we talked about, goals are important. We both feel like you should write them down daily. Write down goals that are people based, relationship based, not necessarily money based. I still write down money goals as well. I like to have a target that's tangible that I
Sure.
can reach. And I feel like after having a target, writing down your goals, one of the next in line, you got to get educated, and learn what money is, learn what money's for, learn how to use it, and get a proper education. And I know that I saw on your show, you guys were doing a review. You can tell me exactly what you were doing with this book, Think and Grow Rich. That was gives you some specifics in there. I'm self-educated. I went to college for a couple of hours, I think, and then I got back out here and went to work. But I'm a big reader. Everybody is not going to sit down and read for an hour a day. Maybe I do, maybe sometimes even more. But so this show, hopefully we can give some people some specifics. Write your goals down. Be relationship based. How do you feel about education and self-education? You said you got into tell me again your thoughts on that.
Yeah, man. I mean, golly, are you kidding me? We have access to all information that basically exists on the planet. We now have access to. It's 2020. Couple clicks of a button, and we can learn from the greatest and most successful people in the history of the world. So I am a student. That is my job, is to be a student, continue to consume information and data, and I study success on all levels. I study successful people in all different industries, not just in the auto industry, in all different industries. I study, I learn, I study, I learn. It's audibles all the time. I listen to audibles in between reading books. If I'm in the shower, I'm listening to an audible. When I'm out on a bike ride, I'm listening to an audible. When I'm in my car, I'm listening to an audible. And even if I can't retain all of the information while I'm listening, even if I get a little distracted or whatever, because I've heard a lot of people say that. They're like, well, I get distracted in the car. I can't retain it all. Dude, just have it on. You'll capture something. I promise you will capture something if you create that daily habit of just constantly feeding that information. So yeah, dude, I mean, I have literally built my entire company right now, and Billy has too. And any powerful company that exists in the world right now, they were all built off of the shoulders of those that have come before us, that have made mistakes, that have screwed up, dude. And they've taught us what to do. Like, I know Billy reads, Billy, I know you're a Grant Cardone 10X, man, right? You're 10Xing and you're applying those principles in your business, and you're having massive success because of it. Same here. So thank you, Grant, for going through the trenches and writing those books for us. We appreciate it. Grant didn't come up with all that stuff on his own. Grant learned from Zig Ziglar. Grant learned from, the people that came from before him. So the information is out there. You've got to tap into it every single day. And then you just add your own little personal spin and twist to it, and you can build massive companies by avoiding all of the pitfalls that have come before you.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to read a couple of comments. I know your time's very valuable, Glenn. So I'm going to read a couple of comments, and then I have a couple of specific questions I want to get your opinion on, and then we'll plan on the next show. We'll talk about something else. Thank you so much for coming on here. Real quick, I want to say that hello to Sarah Stalker. She's out there in Colorado doing big things. If you don't know Sarah Stalker, you need to. Jonesy Jones, that guy's out there giving 10x action. That guy, he's been commenting on here. He is he might be a fan. More importantly, he's a friend, a very dear friend of mine, and I'm a bigger fan of him than he is of me. So hello to Rachel out there. Carson Henry, thank you for commenting. Brent Smith, man, out there grinding. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. If I skip over your name, I didn't mean to. Mr. Huff, thank you. Jeremy Newell, thank you for investing in me. Looking forward to new beginnings. Well, maybe the cat's out of the bag because he just commented on there. If you don't know Jeremy, trust me, you're about to get to know him really well. So thank you, Tim McCarn, out there being a positive, awesome influence. Tim, let's get you on the show. Somebody reach out to Tim and see if we can't get that guy on here. That guy's a super inspirational dude. So, Glenn, we told people they need to write down their goals. We've told people that they need to take daily action. I'll let you tell me exactly what that was, that term. Tell me again, what's that term? Daily.
Yeah, we want to go daily repetitive actions.
Daily repetitive action. I'm going to write it down. Daily repetitive action.
That move so we have to towards have a positive result. Super important.
Say that one more time.
Daily repetitive actions that move you towards a positive result.
Okay.
Not just daily repetitive actions, because that could be negative, right? Daily repetitive actions that move. I'll give you an example. Elena Cardone, right? Building an empire. She wrote a book, Building an Empire. Elena was on my show. Elena said, every action you take and every decision that you make is either building your empire or tearing it down. There's no in between. And that is a powerful, when you can wrap your brain around that, every single decision is either building it up or tearing it down. Because we like to leave ourselves a lot of leeway. Oh, well, I worked hard, so I'm going to go do this, or I'm going to stay up late, or I'm going to drink until 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm only doing it on the weekends. When you start to understand that every single decision, what you do daily, every single action is either building or destroying. That's what I mean by making sure that the daily repetitive action is moving you towards a positive result. What empire are you building?
Love it. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, so Glenn, let me ask you a question. We know how you feel about daily repetitive actions, goals, education. Now, there's two things I want to give people some specifics. What can someone do to increase their income, which is very important? And then if they have a little money, what's something they can invest in that's going to get them a good return? Can you answer both of those questions for me?
Yep. The answer number one, if you want to increase your money, you need to learn what money is. Right? If you want to increase your money, start to study money. There's something called the law of attraction, right? Law of attraction exists out there in the world. What we focus on will be drawn more towards us. So if you want to increase your cash, I need you to study cash. You should be reading books about cash. You should be learning about cash. You'd be following people that have a lot of cash, right? And as you focus on that, you will start to see and create and generate opportunities for more money. So that's the answer to the first part of your question. If you want more money, start to study money. The second part, you said, what should I do with it? Where should I invest it?
Yes,
and the answer to that question is, well, there's multiple, but for starters, in yourself. That's number one. You start to get some cash, flip it, man, roll it over. You're like, okay, I'm starting to get a little bit better. I'm studying money. I'm learning about money. I'm starting to attract more money. So what should I do? You should flip that money into investing in yourself. Well, how do I do that? Invest in a seminar, invest in a mentor, invest in a coach, invest in somebody that can help you to continue to flow that money. As you invest in yourself, you're going to learn more and more opportunities that you can invest in outside things like stocks or businesses or real estate or all of those areas, right? but I would never take a lottery winner and say, hey, go take your money and go invest in real estate. Why wouldn't I do that? Well, because the lottery winner hasn't learned anything about money at this point. It was just a flash in the pan, and he doesn't have anybody advising him at that point. So he's going to go buy real estate. Well, he's going to buy the wrong property. He's going to buy the wrong house, right? Like, you don't know. So invest in yourself by connecting yourself with those that can continue to add value in your life moving forward, and that can advise you and direct you on smart decisions.
Glenn, we've been talking for about 30 minutes, 35 minutes, and I don't want people to get bogged down in a lot of the things we've said. So I've got to make it a point right here to say, back up and watch the last 5 minutes and how he answered this question. And some of the comments on here said the same thing. Invest in yourself, man. This guy, who I'm just going to tell you, I know he's a 1%er. He's telling you that if you make a little money, you need to go to a seminar, that you need to invest in books, that you need to listen to audibles about money and how to improve yourself. You need to invest in a coach. I mean, Glenn, so few people are willing to do that. I do it. You do it. As a matter of fact, on your profile, it says education at Cardone University. I pay big money to have access to that every day. I also have my own coaching. You have your own coaching, right?
That's right.
Invest in educating ourselves with the right mental attitude and to become the best producer that you can be. We can stop the show right here and say that's worth the entire show. If you get a little bit of money, spend it on a seminar, spend it on an audible that's going to improve you. Invest in a coach. Glenn, are you telling me that if I make a little bit of money and I want to find somebody, a mentor, I'm going to find somebody and say, hey, I'm going to give you my money to tell me how to get money?
That's it. That's exactly what I'm saying. 100%.
You know, man, I do hard for people to understand.
I'll tell you right now, I'm working with David Meltzer, man. David Meltzer is one of my mentors now. He's David Meltzer's an incredible human. He's the guy who owned the sports agency that the real life Jerry Maguire worked for, that they made that movie off of. And I pay David Meltzer every single month to advise me. 2 15-minute calls a month. That's it. I pay thousands of dollars for 2 15-minute calls a month. But in those 2 15-minute calls a month, David Meltzer inspires me to do things that I never would have imagined, because I can't see from his level, right? You and I traveled around in a plane together. Well, the world looks different from a plane than it does from the ground. Mm-hmm. The world looks different to a guy worth $400 million than it does a guy like me who's on its way up. It looks different. So I like getting his angles, his bird's eye view, because he can see things I can't. So yeah, I'm 100% telling you, you get some money, flip it, invest in yourself, invest in someone that can help continue to take you to the next level.
I love it, man. And, here's something that Glenn and I have both done. He spent thousands. I bet you spent tens of thousands of dollars on seminars and on coaching and learning. And now you've invested tens of or hundreds of thousands of dollars into your brand and into your business. So you're willing to put your money where your mouth is. I've done the same thing. I've spent dozens of thousands of dollars going to seminars, learning and paying mentors, attending seminars, improving myself. And I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars investing into my business and investing into people. So, we're not just talking heads. We're people that have done this, and we do have somewhat of a bird's eye view. And there are people that we still have to look to and to get some mentorship from. And it's important to look up and be careful who you take your advice from. Never take advice from someone who hasn't done at least what you want to do. So, Glenn, again, thank you so much, man. We could talk all day long. I think that it's important to just point out a few key things to help people. Your daily repetitive actions that end in a positive result, investing in yourself, writing your goals down, having mentors, being a good person. You mentioned spirituality. You mentioned, all these very important things. It's good to know you, brother. It's good to know that I can call on you and that you will give me your time and that you're care enough to try to help somebody. We've had hundreds of views. At one time we had over about 100 people watching at one time. And I appreciate getting these positive messages out there. What do you need from me, sir?
Oh, brother, I just need you to keep climbing, man. Keep climbing and keep calling me whenever you need anything. I'm always here for you. I appreciate you. You're an incredible human being. You're doing great things in the auto industry and outside with your family and your connections. You're building a business, man. Like, you're doing all the right things. So keep it up. Call me whenever you need me for anything. Of course, I'll always be there for you. And keep climbing so that I can keep learning from you too.
Hey, brother, thank you so much. Now,
All right,
I want to say thanks to my producers over here. Can we go back to single screen?
Yeah.
Hey, no, Glenn, real quick.
Yep.
Tell people how they can get more of you. Where can we find you? Where can we get your information? A lot of my friends are going to want to get a whole lot more of Glenn. Tell us where we can find these things.
Yep. If they go to glennlundy.com, they can find all the stuff there. And it also connects to all my different social tracks. Everything's at glennlundy.com.
Okay. glennlundy.com. Wonderful place. We're experimenting. So we're going to try. Thanks again, Glenn.
Thank you,
I look
Billy.
forward to talking to you soon, man.
Bye, bye.
See you. Can we go to one screen? We're at one screen now. Awesome. Okay, so here's thank you so much, Jamie Lopez. Thank you, Smith, my producers here. We're in our makeshift studios until we can get back to our Douglas office. Speaking of investing, we're investing quite a bit of money into making that place absolutely state of the art. We're going to give these computer nerds, and they take that as a compliment. We're going to give them some cool things to work with. Tomorrow's show is the sales show. Who's tomorrow? No, that's next Monday, I think.
Next Monday?
I think so.
Okay, I think Brady may have.
Okay, we're going to have Russ Story. He's a financial advisor. He would be the best for our Monday show. Regardless, we have some Jonathan Dawson's coming up. I know that. Maybe that's tomorrow. We'll figure it out. Same time, 11 a.m. tomorrow. We're going to have a sales show. Now, I know a little bit about money and a whole lot about sales. So even if we don't have a guest, I can drop some bombs on you. Hey, how about that? That intro was awesome. Hey, we got a cool outro as well? Not yet. We're working on it. Thank you, guys. We'll see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Thanks for joining me.